So I'm going to go ahead and do number 3 here. So we've got this problem where we've got two teachers that are folding report cards. And I know that Johnson and Sipple are the teachers' names, and they folded with a ratio of 2 to 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately label and draw my tape diagram. So I've got Johnson, and I've got Sipple, and I know that Johnson, the ratio is 2, and for Sipple, the ratio is 3. And we know at the end of the day that they folded a total of 300. So that means together, when they worked together, they made 300 total report cards. So if I look at that, if the two teachers worked together, they did a total of 300 report cards. Well, how am I going to figure out how many did each person fold? Well, I'm going to go back to my tape diagrams, and I'm going to remember that I could divide the number of boxes into what I've got. So this time I have a total. So I've got, how many boxes here? I have a total of 5 boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 300, and I'm going to divide it by 5. And when I do that, I get a value of 60. So that value of 60 gets to be placed inside each box. So I've got 60, 60, 60, 60, and 60. Now I can answer the question. How many did each person fold? Miss Johnson folded 120 report cards, and Miss Sipple folded 60 times 3, which is 180. She folded 180 report cards. And in order to double check, well, what's 120 plus 180? That total is 300, which is what they folded together. Moving on to the next one. This is the problem where we're going to talk about more girls. This whole thing of more. So again, I've got a country concert. The ratio of number of boys to the number of girls is 2 to 7. So I'm going to draw 2 boxes for the boys and 7 boxes for the girls. 6, 7. And it says, okay, I've got 250 more girls. Well, I know that I've got 2 boxes for the boys, and I'm going to line up that 2 boxes right here. So those are equal. Now, this means that this, in this box represents the 250 more girls. And if that represents 250 more girls, I can figure out the value inside each box by taking 250 and dividing it by 5 boxes. So this 250 is 5 boxes. I'm going to take the 5 and I'm going to divide it into 250, and I get a value of 50. Now I can figure out how many boys attended the concert. I'm going to put 50 inside each box. I can also put 50 inside these boxes too. And I know it only asks me for how many boys there are at the concert. There are, if I take 50 and I multiply it by 2, I get 100. Therefore, there are 100 boys who attended the concert. Okay, moving on. It's the problem set. And these 4 problems, there are 2 problems that have the total and 2 problems that have the more concept. I'm going to take one of each. I'm going to take number 1, and I'm going to take number 3. Okay, and so I'm going to actually draw a line right there. I'm going to do number 1 right here. I'm going to read it. Last summer, we've got this camp where the ratio of number of boys to the number of girls was 8 to 7. And I know it's boys to girls. So I'm going to draw boys and girls, and I'm going to draw 8 boxes for the boys. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now I'm going to do the girls, which is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What else do I know? I also know that there's a total of 195 campers. Total. So that means boys and girls together equals 195. That's the total number of campers. Okay, so I want to know how many boy campers there were and how many girls campers. Well, how many total boxes do I have? I know that I can count 8 plus 7, and the total number of boxes equals 15. So I can figure out the value inside each box by taking 195 and dividing it by 15. And when I do that, I get a value of 13. So that means 13 goes into each box. Each and every box gets the value of 13. And I'm just drawing arrows, and I know that 13 goes inside each box. So now I can solve the problem. I can take the boys, and I can take 13, and I can multiply that by the number of boxes I have, which is 8, which means I have a total of, that's 24, 104. And for girls, I'm going to take that value of 13, and I'm going to multiply it by 7, and I get 21, I get 91. So how many boy campers were there? 104. How many girl campers were there? 91. And just to double check, I can add these two values together and look at that. I get 195. So that's when I have a total. So now let's move on and do number 3, which is all about the more than. So I've got this ski resort that's keeping track of skiers and snowboarders, and I've got the number of season passes of skiers to snowboarders. So I'm going to write SK for skiers and SN for snowboarders, and I know that the ratio is 1 to 2. So what else do I know? It says, okay, wait a minute, there were 1,250 more snowboarders. More snowboarders. So it needs to sit here, 1,250 more snowboarders. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to say, okay, this is the same. I get 1 and 1. So what do I have left? I've got this lone box all by itself, right here, this box, and that extra box is equal to 1,250. And I only have one box, so that makes it easy. That one box is 1,250. So therefore, what does that mean? The rest of the boxes. This box is 1,250, and this box is 1,250. And now I can figure out how many snowboarders and skiers bought season passes. Well, there were 1,250 skiers, and there were 2,500 snowboarders who bought season passes this year. So in this document, or in this problem set and lesson. So what I'd like you to do is do number 2 and number 4, and then you can always show that to me at school when you get it done.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.